Hello and welcome to Card Shop Insiders, a podcast where we combine decades of experience from both sides of the counter to take you inside the business of local game stores and collectible gaming hobbies. I'm Noah, and I play games, lots of them.
I'm John. I'm a card shop owner, a 25-year veteran of the industry, and totally pissed off today about this damn computer and this technology shit.
Well, fortunately, this isn't a technology podcast.
I know, but still, we have to get it going, Noah.
With our combined perspectives, we're going to jump into Card Shop's cards and news and updates today. John, why don't we start with Star Wars? We know we had a slow weekend in the shop here. Only a couple of people in. I didn't really get an explanation of another event that was running that kept people out of the store. Did you hear anything?
Yeah, a couple of people said they thought maybe because of Gen Con last week, people were spent out and they just decided to not show up this week.
Okay. Well, despite the low turnout, we did have a couple of news things to cover real quick. You said that you got an update from distribution that we may not get any more Shadows of the Galaxy for the next couple of months. Tell me more about that, because that's the disappointment.
Well, what Jake is telling me from Southern Hobby is that they do have some additional stock that they're sitting on. They are releasing it in waves. The last one, I got 6 boxes. So I still have probably about 10 or 11 boxes on the shelf.
Okay.
And I asked him, I said, well, when are you going to release the rest of it? He said, we're not sure yet. He said, however, they are going to have another reprint along with the first, Rise of the Rebellion around Christmas time. So there should be 2 reprints.
Okay.
Both, first set and second set. I don't know how much they're going to come out with. We'll see. It's just we don't know.
Well, I guess we'll find out as we dive into the future together.
Yep.
As far as other things coming in the future, we did get Gen Con and I don't know if they did D23 spoilers on this, but they did Gen Con spoilers on Twilight of the Republic, the next set coming out in November of 2024. Really cool new information on game mechanics. Featured leaders are going to be Ahsoka Tano and General Grievous in the 2-player starter. And then there are new token characters. So there's going to be cards that create token characters, more similar to the lines of what Magic the Gathering does, where tokens are characters that are played on the field. And then there's some new mechanics that expand gameplay and deck building that they announced and talked about, but we won't go into all the detail of here. But it's pretty cool stuff. It's a good building block, I think, to improve the quality of the game and the next step forward, especially as they get into competitive play, which they've talked about over the last couple of weeks, and adding another set of cards with more full mechanics to the game is going to, I think, bring a lot more interest and energy to the game. So that's pretty exciting. Why don't we jump over and talk about Lorcana while we're going down the list here? We did have an event this weekend, John. Why don't you give us a little update from your perspective how the event went?
Well, it was good. We had a sealed event, which the players wanted to do. And altogether, we had 15 players come in, which is pretty good. We didn't have any casual players coming in to speak of to sign up for the league.
Mm-hmm.
However, what I'm doing is everybody that came in is signed up for the league, and those players that came in are going to get priority when the store championship comes around.
Oh, very cool.
As a reward to them.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was great. It was one of the things I think to be clear is it was a sealed event that we did in conjunction with the release of the new set. So it was like a release day event, similar to what we do for Magic or some of the other card games that have release day organized events. And we were able to do sealed, and it was a lot of fun. It's a different format than what we've played, and I think the positive feedback from everybody that played had a good time and really enjoyed being able to play a different format for a week.
The only thing I wish they would come out with pre-release kits.
Yeah.
Just like Magic does and some of the other games do. Because I think that adds more value to it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's easier to sell, basically.
Yeah, I think that'd be cool. I think maybe instead of having starter decks, they could talk about pre-release kits as a thing.
Yeah, well, starter decks suck.
Starter decks the starter decks were okay, but now they've even made a better intro product than a starter deck. Yeah. So, that's another thing.
Well, I've cut I got, for a small store, I got 3 cases, which is 24 of each one of the 24 12 of each of the starters.
Hmm.
And I only sold 4 this weekend. So starters are kind of
And I bought 2 of them.
starters are kind of non-existent because there's nothing special in it.
Well, there's a couple of cards in it that I wanted to make sure that I had at least a copy of.
But what they should do is put a couple of cards in there or a promo in there that you can only get in that store.
Well, they're putting a promo in another tabletop game for this game, so why not put promos in actual product for this game? That'd be a fascinating idea.
Yeah. It should be interesting to see if these things are going to sell at the big box store level.
Yeah.
As far as the starters.
I wonder if that's the primary place they sell.
Well, I hope they do because they're going to get stuck with a lot.
Well, they don't.
That's why I cut my order back this week. I'm not taking everything that was allocated to me.
Yeah, Big Box doesn't care if they get stuck with a couple extra starter decks or 100 extra starter decks.
Well, they don't pay for it.
Right.
The big box stores, the distributor who distributes on the secondary market, they pay for it.
That's
and they're going to get stuck with it.
Well, let's talk. There was also some other Lorcana news this week. There was a D23 special pack that included cards from all of the first 6 sets. That is pretty exciting, especially since the 6th set hasn't been released yet. And it went for sale on Friday across the world at several select Disney store locations, as well as Disney Springs. Have you heard anything about that, or do you want to give us an update on how that was going?
Well, I was talking to Jake, my sales rep from Southern Hobby this morning, and one of his friends was going down to Disney. He said, "Hey, can you stop at Disney Springs and get one of these things for me?" And the guy said, "Oh, yeah, sure." They were all sold out.
Yeah.
They were selling for $100, and they were already on eBay selling for anywhere between $250 and $300. Now, supposedly, they were limited on sale to 2 per person.
Yeah, I saw that post.
However, there's some people on eBay that had 12 of them. That's what Jake was telling me. So I don't know how the hell they're getting all these.
Well, they took all their buddies with them to stand in line, or they paid line standers. People get paid in like big cities like New York to stand in line for Apple store openings. I bet you can find somebody to stand in line for you for this.
Yeah, I mean, if it was closer, if it was in a couple hours away, it would have been worth going. However, people were waiting at 11 o'clock at night, camped out in front of the store and staying all night in line for maybe $200 in profit.
Yeah.
It's not worth it.
No.
It's just not worth it.
In addition to that, I guess you told me that supplies were late coming out of distribution, but we should be getting the set 5 supplies and playmats and stuff this week.
They're shipping today.
Okay. Very cool.
They allocated everything, but I cut my allocation down on, I don't think there was any deck boxes in there, but there were some sleeves. And I allocated I cut it back. Instead of, they wanted to ship me 20 of the card back ones.
Yeah.
And I said, no, just send 6. And the reason I did it is because they're not selling as well as they thought they were going to be.
It's because they stink.
Oh yeah. I mean, they split, and the only way, they're reasonable for people who want to collect them, put an oversleeve on them.
Yeah.
And that, that'll protect it. However, I'm getting, I think 4 of one mat and 3 of the bell.
Oh,
so
very cool.
Yeah, so they upped the allocation on that.
That's amazing. You usually only get 1 of each.
1 of each, yeah.
So I'm glad you've moved up in the world of getting your playmats.
We're high society now.
Yeah, we're going to have to snap our noses up. Yeah. What else do we got? We got D23 announcements. D23, of course, Disney's major in-house convention that they run for fans, and that is happening. Well, it happened over the weekend, right? Is it over now? It's over now.
Yeah, it's over. It was Friday,
Thursday,
Saturday, and Sunday.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Well, they had a panel where they had the creators of the game, and they talked about Lorcana's plans for the future. There was a bunch of stuff in it that I'll skip over in terms of statistics, that they talked about how great they are with all the people and all the organized play participation. But then they did give some details. They're going to run the European Championships for the game at Disneyland Paris in December, as well as the North American Championship at Disneyland California in January 2025, followed up by the World Championships, which will take place at the Walt Disney World Resort in Florida. And that will include a special participant promo card of A Whole New World, which has really cool art on it. The current participation promos are going for $200 to $400 on the low end for the big events, the Disney Challenge events. And so I think that promo is going to be a big chase card that people are going to put a lot of money out for.
All right, I see you got 2025. Did they announce what month?
No,
They didn't. Okay.
no, that's what they announced was in 2025.
Okay.
I can't imagine that it's going to be much later than February or March, since the 2 Continental Championships will have been concluded in January. But I don't know. We'll find out. They also announced a new thing that they're calling the Disney Quest Event Series, which is supposed to be a fan-oriented event which will take place at parks and other locations and include real-world quests that you have to complete, as well as other things to do with cards from the game. And they're going to be printing a special set of cards that have no text in the bottom half of the cards so that you can use them to get autographs. And they have promised that at these events around the world, there will be Disney characters in costume signing autographs for people at the event. So it's tying in more of Disney's corporate to this Lorcana game and tying them together, trying to keep this sustained and supported across the platform. But also, they said they're trying to appeal to the casual gamer. They don't want people to feel pressured to have to play competitive, to be in the challenge events or the world championships, to have fun with this game. And so this is supposed to be an event series designed for that. I kind of look forward to seeing some details about it. But I could hear John's voice ringing in the back of my head about more things to take people away from the store, which,
Yeah, other than that, are they going to have your uncle there, Oswald Rabbit?
They are. Well, Oswald the Rabbit is one of the featured cards in the D23 pack that went on sale.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, he's coming out in set 6.
All
so
right.
We're pretty jazzed about that.
But you couldn't get one unless you want to spend $250.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
Well, you could sell Tessa's the card that she pulled the other day.
I could trade 1 for 1, the Enchanted Robin Hood, for that. That would be cool. The other news that came out of D23 was future set release stuff. Set 6 is going to include the introduction of Rescue Rangers, the cartoon series, and as well as it features the Fab Five, Mickey, Donald, Goofy, Minnie, Daisy, as pirate characters in the new set. So that'll be pretty cool. They also announced Black Cauldron, classic 80s flick from Disney, is going to be coming to the game in 2025. Pocahontas will be coming in 2026. And yep, we're talking 2026. And also Pixar films will start being introduced in 2026. So after Toy Story 5 releases next year, yep, they're doing another one. Then we can start getting Toy Story and other Pixar IPs. So that's kind of cool.
Well, they're inserting a lot of energy into the game, which is great.
Yeah, I think so. And this set had some niche movies as well as some new stuff from old stuff. It's a great game for the casual player and the competitive player. I think it's a lot of fun. Obviously, we're still playing it and enjoying collecting and playing the game. So we look forward to being able to do that more and to looking at some of the new IPs that are going to come out over the next year or two. I think that wraps it up, though, for Lorcana today. Why don't we jump and let's talk Yu-Gi-Oh! Before we talk some of the other stuff. Given our fan request for more Yu-Gi-Oh! News, I got as much Yu-Gi-Oh! News as the internet would give me, which was not much because they haven't posted a news article on the Yu-Gi-Oh! Page for a while. But the World Championships are coming up at the beginning of September. Let me double check. I have it on the thing here. Major tournament schedule, Yu-Gi-Oh! Championships, September 7th and 8th in Seattle. So they've completed the qualifying process for that. I think, as far as I can tell, people are excited for that. And then Bandai went ahead and announced the start of the 2025 competitive season, which will start in September of this year.
Bandai?
Or not Bandai, Konami. Sorry, I was looking at the One Piece news here on my document because that made me think of Bandai. But
so you guys think I'm asleep, but I am on the ball.
We're glad. There's a reason we're both participating. But anyway, Konami says they announced new events, including the 275th YCS event, which they've picked 275 as apparently a special number. And they're going to celebrate that with a big event in Lille, France on September 27th through 29th. So congratulations to France and being deemed appropriate for the special 275 celebration. I'm sure something exciting will come with that. But there's also other events that are listed. There's a Florida event already scheduled for later this year. That's the beginning of the 2025 season. So that's what I've got for Yu-Gi-Oh! News at the moment.
Oh, Konami has it together.
Yeah.
I mean, they really do. They're very organized. over, because they've been in business doing this for 25 years now.
Yeah.
So we just signed up for the charity event, which is, I think it's November 17th that we chose. It's a Sunday. And essentially, people bring in cans of goods for charity, and they get free admission into the event. And they've done it over the last couple of years, and it's a good event.
Cool.
And if you really think about it, they send us, packs to give out, but they send us crappy packs that nobody really wants, and they're just clearing out their inventory,
right?
And they're using it as a tax write-off. But at least they're doing something, and we appreciate that. And most of the participants that come in the store are they're very giving. I mean, one guy last year, instead of 8 or 5 cans, he bought 20 cans. So even with a smaller store, I still get 50 or 60 pounds of food, canned food, to bring over to the the OCIM, which is the Orange County Emissions Unit.
Yeah. Shall we talk One Piece? I heard you had positive One Piece news this week.
I guess my ranting helped, because all of a sudden I got an email from Alliance Games. You've got this in your order queue. And I said to myself, I thought I wasn't going to get any.
Yeah.
But it looks like I'm getting 5 or 6 boxes of product coming in, plus the OP kit for tournaments. I think it's 7 or something like that. So I do have some product coming in. However, it's not enough product to put up on the shelves to sell. It's enough product just to continue to run for tournament play for people that come in for prizes. But at least I'm getting something.
Well, you got some support for the game. That's good. That's more than what you had last week when you ranted.
Yeah, so. Well, Ranting and Raving Brandon came in and he said, I guess your Ranting and Raving, panned out. It worked out in your favor. So hopefully that was the reason.
Yeah.
And maybe it'll light a fire under some of these distributors' behinds and say, hey, look, we got to take care of all the stores, not just the big stores.
Yeah.
And I still think both of them are diverting product. I don't care. That's my own gut feeling.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. We've talked a lot about product supply, and there's a lot of different things that affect it around the board. So
yeah. Let's talk about Magic. Bloomborough.
Yeah, tell me.
Continues to do exceptionally well.
Really?
Yeah, it's a great set. Everybody likes it. I know they've had 2 restock orders at the distributor level. And I was able to pick up 8 more boxes today of play boosters and 2 collector boosters.
Oh.
And I think it's going to be short in supply again. Wizard sent them an email. Hey, do you guys want more play boosters? But it looks like the decks are gone, the commander decks. It looks like the collector packs are gone. And it looks like the bundles are gone. I could have gotten more bundles, but I still have 3 or 4 up on the shelf. But after those are gone, then they're going to start hitting on the play boosters.
Yeah.
So there is a supply right now. As I'm, repeating myself, I am getting 8, which is good for store this size because it'll support my drafts. And drafts have been excellent.
Good.
Normally I get maybe 12, 13 people. Last week I got 21 people on Friday night. The week before I got 19 people drafting. So Bloomsboro is a great set.
Great. Well, that's awesome to hear. I was talking to a friend yesterday about different product distribution and just the fact that Magic, I don't know, what's Magic is up to like 11 sets a year or something crazy like that.
I can't keep
If you
track.
count all their special little niche sets they throw out in between the major sets, I mean, there's a ton of releases.
Yeah, and all the secret layers and everything else.
If you add all the secret layers, it's out of control. But
I know.
yeah, it's awesome to hear that this base set Bloomborough is doing really good. But like we've talked about, there's some other product coming that we anticipate seeing later in the fall with the next set release and things like that. So hopefully they continue positive momentum. But Bloomborough is definitely a big hit. Maybe we'll get Bloomborough 2 pretty soon. Return to the Burrow.
Return to the Burrow?
Yeah.
They ought to come out with a set called Return to the Hood.
No, you stop.
Yeah.
I'm featuring only wolves. Arr. All right, the last one for news. Pokemon World Championships are going to be this week, so that'll be fun.
They're having it in Hawaii.
They're having it in
Right?
Hawaii. We talked about this, John, last week.
I
You don't
know.
you don't agree with it being in Hawaii, but I
No, I
think
don't.
destination tournaments are where it is at. I mean, if you want to have, it's not Antarctica. I mean, nobody's going to get there, but I mean, Hawaii is at least a fun place for people to try to go.
If you were good at Pokemon, would you take your whole family to Hawaii just play Pokemon
No,
in a
I'd
tournament?
leave them here. I'd go. No, I'm just kidding.
Ooh, wife better not hear that one, though.
All right, we'll see what happens with that.
Uh-huh.
All right, well, that's it for the news today. I think we can wrap that up. We'll take a look at what we can talk about in the future for news and keep you guys updated. But let's flip over. This week we had promised that we would talk about costs, fixed variable costs, and volume. And we've got that opportunity now in our main topic discussion, John. So take it away. Tell us what we're doing.
All right, we're going to keep this simple. A lot of people really don't understand the difference between fixed costs and variable costs. Fixed costs are your fixed expenses every month. For instance, your insurance, your rent, your your telephone bill,
Mm-hmm.
your internet service. Those are fixed expenses
Okay.
and or fixed costs versus the variable ones like your electricity, because last month mine was 226 or something like that. This month I just saw the bill was 222.
Hmm.
Normally it's like 140, but because it's been so damn hot, the variable has gone up. So you have to be prepared for that kind of stuff. Um, let's see. Fixed costs, the definition are costs that are independent of volume. Fixed costs tend to be those costs that are based on time rather than quantity produced or sold by your business. And again, be repetitive. Examples of fixed costs are rent and lease costs, salaries, which I don't have to worry about. It says utility bills here, but that's not true unless you're on a yearly budget. And if you're on a yearly budget where they take last year's and they come out with a number that you're going to pay $200 a month, that would be a fixed cost. But next year it could be 225 because you went over.
Right.
So insurance and loan repayments, those are examples of fixed costs. Variable costs are anything that you use, like your product. All right, you have to buy your product. Say one distributor charges you $20 a box,
Mm-hmm.
another distributor charges you $25 a box plus 2%, and then you got to pay shipping costs if it's under a certain amount. So those are variable costs, and there's other variable costs involved that you should really understand that your variable cost, the word is variable,
Yeah.
can go up or down, and you have to make concessions to that. And again, I'm looking at my list of things that I pay every month. All right, Crystal Commerce, that's a fixed cost because I know what I'm paying.
Right.
However, it could be a variable cost if people put an order in online. I get charged a small amount or percentage, from what they put in. So I may get a bill for $1.06 or $1.60 or whatever, and that's a variable cost too.
Okay.
Store rent is a fixed cost. Store electric is a variable cost. Store insurance is a fixed cost. I use stamps.com. That's a fixed cost. However, the variable cost, if I have to add more money into the account in order to cover, additional postage that I do during the month.
Okay.
My internet and store telephone are a fixed cost. Store water, right now, it's a fixed cost unless I go over a certain amount. And it doesn't really go over that much. So it's usually a fixed cost every month. My alarm system, that's a fixed cost. I know every month how much the alarm is going to cost me. And my loyalties rewards program through preferred patron is a fixed cost.
Yeah.
So that's the difference between fixed cost and variable cost. And your cost could go higher, your variable cost could go higher dependent upon your volume.
Mm.
or it could go lower dependent upon your volume.
Yeah, there's a lot of extrinsic factors that affect your variable cost, right?
Yep.
So, but you have ultimate control of your fixed costs. You get to decide what you're going to spend money on a guaranteed rate once a month, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Very good. The cost affect at all about how you decide what you're going to buy or how you're going to like keep the shop supplied?
As far as product costs,
Yeah.
yeah, I tend to what I tend to do is order enough that I get free shipping. That's the most important thing. Shipping's expensive. I think I paid like $1,000 last year in shipping costs.
Wow.
And and I can understand the distributor. They're absorbing these costs. They started using a handling charge, and I asked them one time because everybody uses a handling charge. What's the handling charge for? Well, that's we have to order boxes. We have to order. We have packing supplies, and we use printed boxes with fancy logos on it.
Yeah.
All well and good, but that's what they you know that's what they charge you for as far as your your handling charge. Now, there's some thresholds that you have to meet. You don't have to meet it. I'll give you, for instance, getting back to One Piece.
Mm-hmm.
The total amount of the order came out to $355. However, that meant because it wasn't $500, I would have to pay for shipping.
Okay.
And they double box everything. So in my mind, I'm saying, it's going to cost around $25. So what I did was I threw a collector's box of whatever the hell that said, Outlaws of Thunder Junction.
Thunder Junction.
And I got it over $500. So the shipping was free.
Mm-hmm.
However, I still had to pay a $5 handling charge plus 2% credit card use.
Mm.
So they get you coming and going. And everybody's starting to charge credit card fees. Unless you have an account where you have an automatic check withdrawal from your account, and then they'll charge you that fee. But I don't want them.
I don't want them anywhere near my bank account. So.
No, I don't, because it's a hit against your credit report, and I don't worry about that. That's not a problem. But like you said, I don't want them messing around with my in my credit. The less people that know what's going on, the better.
Very true. Very true. All right. Well, does that wrap it up for your discussion of costs today, or did you have other thoughts you wanted to share?
No, another thing. And this is going to go into ultimately talking about protecting what you collect.
Okay.
All right. Protect your store product. That's important because I've been in stores, and I'm sure you've been in stores, that they have their product right by the window, and there's no ultraviolet protection on the windows. Yeah. And all of a sudden, the product looks like it's faded.
Yeah.
And it looks like it's shabby, and it's money there that you have. You got to protect it just like you would protect your money.
Yeah.
Don't leave it in an environment where it's very humid. Be careful of leaks in the store. I know we had a lot of rain this past week from the hurricane, and there was some leakage, not inside the store, fortunately, just outside the store. But it could have easily shifted over into the store. Yeah. So when I came in, the first thing I looked, make sure there was nothing that was coming down on the product, and keep the store looking nice. I mentioned this before. Dust, keep it clean. Mm-hmm. The most important thing, and I'm going to keep repeating this, is keeping the bathroom clean. Yeah. Because women come in, and I've had a lot of women come in and say, "This is the cleanest bathroom that I've ever been into in the store." And it's important.
Well, men like a clean bathroom too. So
no, some guys are slobs, and I constantly go in there and wipe.
Well, they're still boys at that point.
They're still boys.
The grown men like the bathroom to be.
Well, clean. They have bad aim.
Don't start on that.
Yeah, that's so. But again, keep the store clean because that's a reflection on you. Yeah. If the store is shabby, people are going to think you're shabby. And you don't want that to happen because they'll look elsewhere.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, now we're going to go into my 3 E's.
We're going to Snapple. We're going to rename this.
What are we going to rename it?
I don't know, something that has Snapple in the name.
Educate,
copyright
enlighten,
violation.
entertain, and Snapple.
Yeah.
The Snapple.
We're not. That's
All right.
That's fringe.
2 Snapple facts this
All right.
week.
2 of them.
Do you know what a jiffy? You say to somebody, "I'll be there in a jiffy." Oops.
I mean, that's how long it takes to get an oil change, right?
Do I want to talk to them? No. Let's do this. Ringer muted. All right. So
Telephone interruption. Edit it out of this.
the hell with it.
All right. But the
a jiffy.
Right. So the jiffy is how long it takes to get an oil change.
That's Jiffy Lube.
I'm aware. That's where I
Okay.
got. That's where the word.
But
came
it takes more than 1/100th of a second.
Is that how long a jiffy is?
That's what, according to the Snapple fact, a jiffy is an actual time measurement equaling 1/100th of a second.
No way.
That's what it said.
No
You
way.
can't even say jiffy
In 1/100th of a
No,
second.
you can't.
I mean, that's the amount of time that was left in the what was it? The men's 100. Didn't he win by 1,000th of a second?
I don't know. But
The famous Magic player Noah Lyles won.
well, maybe this is a Snapple fact with a question mark for the true validity of it.
I don't know. I haven't questioned him yet. That's a shockingly short amount of time.
Yeah. And the next Snapple fact I have is, I'm sure a lot of people know this, but a lot of people don't know this. U.S. paper currency isn't made of paper. It's actually a blend of cotton and linen. But if you were to hold, in addition to the security strip that's on it,
Yeah.
if you were to hold it up to the light or put a flashlight behind it, you'll see threads in it.
Yeah, you can see the fibers.
Yep.
That's why it's hard to counterfeit, because it's not made out of paper.
So that's a legitimate fact.
I knew that, but I knew that from watching the movies.
All right. Counterfeit movie?
Yeah.
All
Like
right.
the YouTube videos, how to counterfeit. No, that's
All
not.
right. All right. Well, the next thing that I want to talk about is protect and collect. And this goes back to what I was talking about as far as the store, protect your product in the store.
Okay.
But this is your personal collection. And this was a pretty good article that I came across. And the article's title is Protect What You Collect, a 5-step approach to assure that those treasures you've gathered over the years maintain their value.
Okay.
And I highlighted a couple of sections, and instead of me paraphrasing, I'm just going to read it. Americans take pleasure in collecting things. Some 61% of us accumulate items of a similar nature, with coins, toys, trading cards, and jewelry topping the list, according to a 2023 survey by Lending Tree. Collectors have spent an average of more than $6,000 on their treasures. Owning the collection isn't as simple as putting it in the closet. It requires planning and care. It's especially true if you hope one day to sell or donate the collection, or if you want your heirs to get prime value. I'm not going to leave my heirs anything. They're not going to get any damn thing out of it.
That's good.
Yeah, because I don't have anything to collect. I'm throwing all the crap out.
Sound plan.
All right. Step 1 is organize it.
Okay.
Keep a detailed inventory of your collection, either in a computer or spreadsheet or on paper. It's an important tool in assessing the collection's value. The good inventory should include a description of each item, noting where you bought it and how much you paid for it. And that's important for insurance purposes too. Because if you have a valuable collection, no matter what it is, whether it's cards or whether it's a collection of jewelry, you can get addendums to your policies, your insurance policies, to make sure that this is protected in the event of, some loss of fire or theft or something like that. Again, accurately value it. That's step number 2. And you can get an item graded. This is common for collectibles that aren't so rare, but for which condition can drive value, such as comic books, trading cards, coins, video games, or autographs. And there's a whole bunch of different services out there, and you pay them. For instance, you can get your cards graded with PSA and Beckett and things like that. But they charge you a decent amount of money. However, if you have a Black Lotus and you get it graded, it can be exponentially more in value.
Yeah.
Plus, you need it for insurance purposes, um, because I mean, you got to prove the value of it, the
All right.
intrinsic value of it. All right. Number three is store it properly. Heat and light are not your friends. And I I keep harping on this when people come in who have collections of cards that they want to for me to buy.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as they walk in the door, I could smell the smoke,
Mm.
and I will not buy anything that is smoke. That has been around smoke, because cardboard is very hygroscopic. It absorbs moisture,
Mm-hmm.
it absorbs all odors and things like that. And I've had cards that come in addition to smoke, they've smelled mildewy. They've had them, stored in the basement, or they put them up in the attic, and they get heat damage from it. So store your collection, uh, especially your most valuable. And we're getting back to cards because this is what it's all about. Make sure you put them in decent sleeves. Make sure you put them in hard cases if it's a really good, expensive card.
Yeah.
Something that's archival quality, which is not going to deteriorate the cardboard. And take care. You know, it's your investment. Take care of your investment.
Yeah.
And some people don't. They just
But
they don't have. And some people go overboard.
yeah.
I've seen people have basic lands in hard sleeves.
Huh.
Oh yeah. But that's beside the point. And number 4 on the list is keep it clean. Make sure that they're dusted off once in a while. Again, I've seen people come in with bags of cards,
Mm.
and the dust on the bags are, it's unbelievable. You grab it and you get dust and dirt
Yeah.
all over your hands. And, they may have some valuable cards in there, but I won't even look at it. I'll just say, no, I'm not buying today,
Yeah.
because I just don't need it.
No.
And plan its future. What do you want to have if you were to kick the bucket? Where do you want these collectibles to go? Do
Right.
you want it to go to your heirs? Do you want to donate it to a museum, if it's a museum quality piece, like an art piece or something like that?
Mm.
And again, I'm talking about playing cards. Or gaming cards. I've had a lot of people come in and said, "Hey, my brother passed away last year, and he was a big Magic collector." Some of it I don't believe, but some of these cards are probably stolen anyway. But
Huh.
I've seen that happen. And you got to plan what you want to do with your collection,
Yeah.
and make provisions for it now.
Okay.
But the most important thing is organize it, keep the receipts of how much it costs, and make sure you're insured for the proper amount.
Yeah.
All right, let's next on the list. Oh yeah, I may have mentioned this once before. Scammers love these companies. All right, again, I'm going to read this. Best Buy and its Geek Squad, along with Amazon and PayPal, are the companies scammers most often impersonate, based on reports from the Federal Trade Commission from those targeted. When it comes to dollars stolen, consumers say they've lost far more money to scammers pretending to be from Microsoft and Publishers Clearinghouse than any other business. And here's a summary of the reported losses in 2023. All right. Best Buy, Geek Squad, fraud reports, 52,000 of them,
Oh, geez.
for the total loss of $15 million.
Wow.
I got one too that came in, that you bought something on, this, and I didn't buy anything. So I just, got rid of it. Amazon, 34,000 complaints at $19 million total loss. PayPal, 10,000 at $16 million loss. Microsoft, 7,000 complaints, $60 million. Publishers Clearinghouse, 7,000 reports of fraud, $49 million.
Wow.
And Norton LifeLock,
Oh, yeah.
6,000 fraud reports for a total of $11 million.
Wow.
So watch out for scammers.
Yeah. Well, they call your phone all day. Just don't even know why you have a phone anymore.
Yeah. That's it. That's all I have for these.
All right. Well, that's a good pile of information to enlighten, educate, and entertain us, John. Thanks for bringing that to us today. I think next week I started working on our outline. I thought there's a couple of questions that were posed on some Reddit threads I thought I'd bring to the table, and maybe we can discuss those. I've put them up, but we'll try to find some common questions for people getting into the card space or thinking about career changing into the card gaming industry, and their thoughts, and maybe some of your thoughts about why that may or may not be the greatest idea. But let's wrap it up then, I guess, for the week.
Yeah, and again, my views are my views and my views only from my perspective.
That's true.
So I could tell somebody, hey, you're crazy for getting into this business. And that's from my perspective right now. But it may be something that they've aspired to and they wanted to do for a long time.
Yeah.
And then once they get into it, they say, oh, Christ, the old man was right.
Well, we'll see. Maybe what your opinion is right, and they should think that. But let's go ahead and wrap up with gratitude and thanks this week for our listeners for joining us here on Card Shop Insiders. We're very grateful to have your support and listening to the show. If you do like it, please subscribe, follow, and hit the like button on all the different platforms. The podcast is now found on Spotify, iTunes, and YouTube. You can follow us on social media at Card Shop Insiders on both Instagram and X. And we have started releasing and filling out the playlist of all of our episodes on YouTube. So those should be coming out, I think, on a weekly or twice a week basis until it fills up to current, and then it'll go once a week like the regular podcast release. But that's out there. If you're listening to this on a different platform, please feel free to and support us by listening to it on YouTube. Give us a like and follow there. Leave some comments. Give us your feedback. Tell us that you've listened to it or where you're from or any of those things so that we can just get the algorithm on YouTube engaged and start introducing the podcast to more people there.
Can you tell how many subscribers we have now?
I can tell you how many subscribers we have on Spotify.
What about YouTube?
I can look it up. I have to take a minute. Right now, our Spotify subscriber count is at 49, and our YouTube subscriber count is at, not that one. When you're a man of 1,000 YouTube channels, you sometimes click the wrong one. That one has not the subscriber. 36.
Where are they from? You could tell that.
I could not tell that right now.
Oh, you can't.
I'm not in the right thing to look at that. Okay. I'm just on YouTube.
Okay.
Thank you to our Patreon subscribers. We do have Patreon available as an option if you would like to support the show and you're interested in contributing to the show financially. Please join up on Patreon, where our basic tier subscription includes behind-the-scenes video that sometimes is more entertaining than others. And today is truncated because of technology issues, but we're excited to share with you what John and I do before and after the podcast as we discuss episodes and our success or lack thereof sometimes in getting this recorded. And we do want to give a special shout out and thank you to our Patreon patrons, Ben, Brandon, Grant, Logan, Drayden. Thank you guys for subscribing and joining us on Patreon, and we look forward to having more of you join us up there soon. And
is there a new one? Did we get another Patreon? Patron?
There was you.
Well, other than me.
Let's check that too.
I'm curious.
Don't want to leave anybody out. We have, Jacob. Jacob is our newest.
Jacob.
Congratulations, Jacob, for joining up as a paid patron supporter. We appreciate you also joining the team and look forward to sharing more content with you going forward. So thank you very much for that. Thanks for catching that, John. Appreciate it. And that'll wrap us up for this week. So until next week, guys, thank you and take care.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate you listening.